He mentioned the Worthy play and described it as the most jarring early on, saying that for those who had not yet seen it, there was a clip showing it. And while he was watching, he admitted he was unsure, pointing out that it was obviously a rub route concept where routes were run close together to confuse defensive backs and force them to change direction. Then he asked how it went wrong and who actually had the right of way in that situation, explaining that he was supposed to be running his route at depth for Worthy and that it was frustrating because he had tried to set it up, admitting he was not sure about Worthy's health status, but he hoped to have him back quickly since he meant so much to the team, adding that he had been the biggest supporter, not just as a teammate, but as someone who constantly hyped him up, recognizing how hard Worthy worked and how much his game had improved, believing he would soon take the league by storm, insisting he was one of the team's best players and destined to become one of the best wide receivers in the National Football League. But then describing how he ran into him, and suddenly one of the biggest pieces of the game plan was removed from the contest, saying he owed him a lot and confessing he felt terrible, admitting he could barely even play the rest of that first half until he learned at halftime that Worthy was in better spirits than he had imagined, which allowed him to gear back up and go out trying to win. And this shifted into the bigger story surrounding Travis Kelce of the Kansas City Chiefs, who was expected to be the hero of the NFL's Brazilian debut, yet instead became the center of a storm, the unexpected star of a viral moment that no one had seen coming. And on that night in Sao Paulo, when the Chiefs faced the Los Angeles Chargers for the much-hyped 2025 season opener, it was supposed to be about football reaching its next frontier, but instead the focus became anger, feuds, and a slap that ignited the internet, with the Chiefs arriving in Brazil carrying wounded pride after a Super Bowl defeat to the Eagles earlier that year, still filled with hope but weighed down by pressure. The receiving core patched together since Rashee Rice was suspended for 6 games and injuries left the depth chart thin, even making Andy Reid's steady confidence look tested. But fans of the Chiefs had traveled across continents, filling arena Corinthians in a sea of red and gold with the air buzzing in anticipation, all eyes on Mahomes and Kelce to see if they could shake off the sting of the past and spark a new era, though nobody expected the chaos about to unfold, as the Chargers came in with a chip on their shoulder and fought for a 27-21 win that was more about grit than statistics, though the box score could not tell the entire tale because on the field tempers boiled over, penalties piled up, and tension was thick from the first snap before everything exploded in the third quarter. When Kelce, during a fierce blocking play following a hard 2-yard run by Kareem Hunt, went face-to-face with Chargers defensive tackle Ter Tart, the battle between them having simmered all night with shoves and muttered words on a collision course, until in a sudden burst Tart spun and delivered an open-handed slap across the front of Kelce's helmet, the sound echoing as the crowd gasped, leaving Kelce stunned as he spun away, arms raised in disbelief and looking for the referee's flag, which came as unnecessary roughness and 15 yards, sparking a crowd roar half outrage and half delight. But Tart remained in the game since the officials ruled the slap open-handed and by the letter of the law and not grounds for ejection, a technicality that poured fuel on the fire, and instantly social media detonated with clips and slow-motion replays flooding every platform. Some fans claiming it was a brutal punch, while others insisted Kelce had been knocked out cold, though the footage showed he never left his feet nor missed a snap. And on the very next play, Patrick Mahomes sprinted into the end zone for an electrifying 11-yard touchdown, sending the stadium into eruption. But Harrison Butker missed the extra point, keeping the Chiefs behind and leaving the momentum fragile. Then Tart returned unfazed and made a critical stop that helped preserve the Chargers' lead, which held until the end, though Kelce eventually broke free in the fourth quarter for a wild 37-yard touchdown, celebrating with theatrical flair by mimicking a bull and shimmying for the cameras as teammates surrounded him, giving the Chiefs brief hope of turning the tide. Yet the Chargers held steady and ran down the clock, handing Kansas City a season-opening loss and leaving the slap as the only moment anyone discussed, though the drama carried well beyond the field as the clip went viral within minutes, analyzed by fans, analysts, and former officials, with ex-NFL referee Terry McCauley explaining on YouTube that open-hand contact meant no ejection, while on X, the platform formerly Twitter, outrage exploded, especially from Swifties, the passionate fans of Taylor Swift, who had skipped the game due to security concerns, but whose supporters flooded Tart's Instagram with memes, threats, and lyrics, warning him never to touch Travis Kelce like that again, while quoting Swift's songs. And Tart leaned into the villain role by posting a Dave Chappelle meme saying what did. The five fingers say to the face, slap, followed by laughing emojis, then later throwing a dig at Swift herself, which sent the internet into frenzy. While analysts debated the rules, fans argued intent, and Swifties kept up the pressure with memes and creative threats filling Tart's mentions. While inside the Chiefs' locker room, the mood contrasted sharply as Kelce brushed off questions about his health and said he was already focused on recovery, with the team closing ranks determined not to let one viral moment define their season. Andy Reid remaining vague and offering no update on rookie receiver Xavier Worthy, who had been knocked out on the opening drive after colliding with Kelce. And while the slap was the spark, the aftermath became wildfire, with every sports show replaying slow-motion footage from every angle and dissecting every detail, even asking if Kelce's headbutt of his own teammate Jawan Taylor was a sign of deeper offensive fractures or if the slap proved the NFL needed to revisit its rules, with speculation also rising over whether Taylor Swift would publicly comment, though she stayed silent, which only fed the frenzy. Even Kelce's brother Jason, who had recently retired and was now an analyst, weighed in defending his toughness on national television. Yet Kelce himself stayed calm after having spent the offseason dismissing retirement rumors and vowing to return. Now battered but resolute, promising to be ready for the next game, staying focused while the world obsessed over the slap, penalties, and missed chances. And for the Chiefs, the night became a harsh reminder as their offense lacked rhythm and discipline. Penalties piled up, and emotions ran hot, with the slap symbolizing a team under pressure to prove their Super Bowl loss was only a fluke. Yet the road ahead remained long for a squad built on resilience, since adversity was nothing new. And meanwhile, Tart reveled in his notoriety, keeping his name alive with memes and posts and showing no regret, with the league taking no further action beyond the in-game penalty, leaving him the villain of the week and the target of Swifties' anger. Yet football is always a game of redemption, where infamous moments become just one chapter of a larger season. And the Chiefs, shaken but undeterred, returned to practice with renewed intensity as coaches urged players to control their emotions and channel energy into execution, with Kelce's leadership providing a rallying point. And though the game in Brazil was meant as a showcase of global expansion, it turned into a spectacle, reminding everyone that sports at their wildest are about moments that shock, about villains and heroes, about feuds and friendships, about a slap heard worldwide, and a player standing tall through it all, determined to keep inspiring and competing. And at this moment, he reminded everyone not to miss what was coming next, so make sure to hit subscribe. Because as he noted, the beauty of the sport is that each week brings new stories, new heroes, and new villains, with the Chiefs' season only beginning. And if the opener in Sao Paulo offered any hint, then anything was possible. And as the storylines kept building, fans were told once again to subscribe so they could stay updated with every twist and turn. And while the road to redemption stretched long, the drama was only starting, leaving Travis Kelce, battered but unbowed, at the heart of it all. Still unmissable, still central, still driving the conversation. And for those eager for exclusive updates, interviews, and behind-the-scenes insights, it was emphasized once more to subscribe and stay locked in, because the only certainty was that the next chapter would be even wilder than the last.